Ramble. This week we've got JD McPherson, the Hi-Jivers, and introducing Big Sandy's Sandbox with fly-ride bassist Kevin Stewart. Westcoast Ramble is sponsored by Atomic Swag and Blast Colt. Now here's your host, Big Sandy, Pope Paul, and Tom. Hey, how's it going? This is Tom from Westcoast Ramble, and we're here. I want you, before we get going, I want you to say hello to my good friend, Big Sandy. Say hello, Big Sandy.
Hi there. How y'all doing out there? Good to see you.
All right. And this is the other guy, part of our trio is Paul. Say hello, Pope Paul.
Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning in once again. Hope you're doing well in your own quarantine.
All right, guys. Let's see. We got to make sure we get comments and stuff coming in because that's what makes the show really good is when you guys comment in. Is that Paul's dog in the back? What is that?
Yeah, that's my dog going crazy. I'm so sorry.
Okay. All right.
And here's Emily.
An earthquake.
All right, we got a lot of music to go through. So get that dog some Alpo. Hey, look, we got Kenny Solheim is here. Cheryl Jones is here. Hey, Big Sandy. So it looks like we got people going. So I was going to talk about a couple things before we get going. We got so much music, and it's a huge show. I'm actually nervous. I didn't have dessert tonight because I was afraid it might not turn out too well. Anyway, so hey,
That's the spirit.
I'm sorry, Big Sandy. I'm just being honest here. We're all friends. Okay. So, here's my notes. I said I wanted to thank everyone for sharing and liking the show. Like, we went from, we got 250 likes in the last 12 hours, so thank you very much for that. And this is our 4th web show, so it's going pretty good. And, right here, we've got the Venmo and the PayPal. So if you're inclined and if you got some feria in your pocket and you want to help us out, that'd be cool, you know. Let's see. So that's about it. That's all I don't need to keep talking anymore. We should really talk to someone who really knows what's going on, and that's Big Sandy. Big Sandy, what do you got going this week on the show?
Well, we're starting a new segment called, and who came up with this name? What is it, Big Sandy's Sandbox?
Well, yes. I want to tell you this story. Yeah.
Tell me the story.
Yes, it is. Okay, it's Big Sandy's Sandbox. Now, here's, friends, we wanted to do a segment for Big Sandy so he could talk to just regular folk musicians, the guys in the trenches, and they've got great stories, and Big Sandy has been there, so he knows. In other words, you're going to love these stories. But I didn't have a name, so my roommate, Lex, who sings in my band, I said, what should we call it? And she said, Big Sandy Sandbox. And boom, we were sold. Bob's your uncle. So that's how we got Big Sandy Sandbox.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Although at first it brought to my, I was thinking like a kitty litter box or something. I got to get that image out of my mind. You know? Yeah. I know I'm full of. Anyway, well, so today on the inaugural episode of this segment, where I wanted to put a spotlight on some of the sidemen and musicians who maybe aren't right out in the front, like guys like myself, but who are such an integral part of every artist's sound. Tonight's guest is a bass player. He plays with the Fly-Ride Boys, but he's played with a lot of different artists over the years, and I'm going to ask him about that in a minute. But first, I just want to ask Kevin Stewart. Welcome, Kevin Stewart.
Hello.
How are you holding up? How are you holding up during this crisis and lockdown, my friend?
I'm doing good. Yeah. Just hanging out, you know? It's
Yeah. I noticed you've been working on a new instrument.
I am. I actually got a guitar right before the madness started, and it's been good company for the last couple weeks.
Well, you posted a couple of videos of your progress and just kind of messing around with it, and it made me so happy. It just it was that old smile that we all know and love from seeing you on stage playing, and it was a good thing. It was good to watch you do that. I hope you continue doing that.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
Hey, Kevin, so I mentioned that you played with a bunch of different artists and still do on the side, other than my band. What are some of the acts that you played with over the years?
Over the years, wow. You guys, Brian J., Last Call Boys, Ernie Vargas and Watts, we had a little thing going. Wanda Jackson, Glenn, Matt Curtis, some old legends like that. Cadillac Angels. Gosh, I don't know. It's there's a lot
Yeah, because when you joined our band, you already had like a lot under your belt. Your resume was already pretty long. You mentioned Wanda, and I know it seems to me that you guys had a special bond. I've seen her a few times where she's asked for you by name. Where's Kevin? Kevin Stewart. She'll say the full name. I just wonder if maybe there's a special memory you have of playing with Wanda, or a particular show that kind of stands out in your mind.
Probably the first time, like we didn't rehearse or anything. We was just kind of just like go in and do it, and obviously learned our material really good and knew all the harmonies and stuff. But I believe it was at the Derby, and I'll never forget her coming over to my bass because she's so little and just like leaning on like the upper bout of my bass and singing up to me and like serenading me on stage. She was so cute.
That is so sweet.
But yeah, that's kind of something she would start to do every other shows that I would be on stage with her. She would always kind of do that, or
she worked that into the whole.
She was flirty. She's flirty.
Yeah, that's cool. There are times you can really imagine. Oh man, seeing her back in the day must have been something else because she was still, and she still is dynamic, even though she's not on the stage anymore. But you can just still feel her presence when she's in a room.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you a question, just a general question about bass playing, and particularly being an acoustic bass player. It seems to me, I'm not I don't play bass, obviously, but seems to me as an acoustic bass player, you have to balance different elements. Like you have to think about being percussive and how that fits in with the other players. You have to have a general sense of the melody. But also, you're the root of everything, keeping everything grounded. I'm wondering if there's any one of those elements that stands out more than the other, or is it just a combination of all those? Or?
Yeah, for me, I've always been more melodic. I try to be more melodic in bass lines, within reason of the song, what it calls for, what it needs. But yeah, basically just try to get people to move, really.
So that's the bottom line, right? Yeah.
For me, yeah, I want to see people dancing, and a lot of that's from bass and drums and just setting the overall rhythm and stuff.
But yeah, I kind of thought that might be kind of along the lines of what you would say, and I kind of would agree. I think if I were in your shoes, in your boots,
yeah, my quarantine Vans right now. But.
Yeah. So playing in these different situations, and you also play with Hepcat. You're doing the ska rock style thing. You've been playing for a long time with us, and you play in a lot of different situations. Wonder when you play, like when you leave one group to play with another, do you find it's hard to adjust, or do you? And what do you look for in that? Is it do you fall in sync with the drummer, or does the singer lead the way, or what kind of What do you look for to kind of to bring you into what this other group is doing musically?
Yeah, I would say drums and vocals, and just the overall vibe of it. It's weird, like when I used to do like a lot of live music theater too. So we'd be in like a theater for 3 months, but I'd be doing other outside gigs. But like when it would be over, it was kind of like, yeah, like shoot, like I gotta go. Like now it's back to like the others type of music, and it's shifting gears. Yeah.
Do you find one more difficult than the other doing the theater thing? I've seen you in that mode. It's really great to watch you do that, and I've seen you with I see you every night when we're on the road.
Yeah.
Is one more difficult than the other? Do you find more joy in one over the other?
They're the same for their own different reasons, like. Theater's cool because it's kind of, you just go in, and once the show's up and running, you just go in and play the show, and then you're out, and there's no like social life much to it, kind of thing.
Okay,
but
right.
Like what we do, touring and clubs and bars, and that's also like the good part of what we do too. It's Well, I don't know. It's like I like the theater too because it's like you can really focus, and it's like doing a live session every night, and there's no improvising, there's nothing. It's just like you can go in and do your job and do it as perfect as you can and get out of there. And it's the same mindset with gigs, but it's a little looser because you're playing every night in a different room and different energies, and that's what I love about what what we do in clubs and stuff, just because it's more real.
You get the immediate reaction, and you can. I mean, each show is different from night to night, not like a theater show.
Yeah. But it's
kind of that can vary.
It's like session work, but like I like the live show setting too, just as much, because it is fun to be able to just improvise and play it different with it.
I think it's great that you're able to do both, because to me it seems like it could be different mindsets, but I think you excel in both. And I'm like I said, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys want to say hi to our friend Kevin here?
Yeah, what's up, Tom? What's up?
Hey.
Tom and I, we had a little side thing going a couple years ago with Roberto, and
yeah, I think we played one practice, and then you realized you were too good for me.
No.
How funny! How did you know? That's what he told me. Tell him what you told me.
No, I think it was honestly just Roberto was just super busy and with the work, and but yeah, no, we got to jam out Thin Lizzy and stuff. That was cool.
Dude, I'm sorry I put you up to that, man. I'm sorry.
Why?
Well, thanks for. Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. Did I cut you off?
No. Hi, it's good to see you, Kevin.
Thanks for taking the time to check in with us, man. It's good to see you, my friend.
Same. I don't know if you can even see me. I'm so
I can.
Little.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Kevin Stewart, everybody. Yeah.
Yay!
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
All right, see you, Kevin.
Bye.
Bye, Tom. Bye, Paul. See you, Rob.
Okay, friends, so that leads us to our next deal. Hey, Paul, I don't even know what our next deal is. Paul, could you please tell us who our next guest is, please?
All right, guys. Well, in a bit, I have the Hi-Jivers joining us from Nashville. And then after that, of course, we're all excited that we're going to have JD McPherson on right after them. And I want to take a second to tell you guys that this show is sponsored by Blast Cult. And Blast Cult is based in Orange and in the UK. And they make upright basses for people like Lee Rocker of the Stray Cats, Jimbo from Reverend Horton Heat, George A. from Tiger Army, even Slap and Spence. And they've even been making guitars forever. And they have a new guitar called the Batavia out. And a famous Japanese guitarist, Hote, he plays it, and he composed the theme for Kill Bill, also with Phil Manzanera of Roxy Music. So some pretty cool people playing the new guitars that just came out, just about a year and a half ago or so. And another thing that Blast Cult wants you to know is they're going to have their own online chat going on. It's going to call the Lockdown Lowdown, and it's going to start next Sunday. And you can find out more information about how to join that live next Sunday on blastcult.com. And you can find out more information on the instruments and everything on blastcult.com. Check it out, guys. Join the cult.
Right on.
And without that,
yes, sir.
I think we have the Hi-Jivers. They're here with us now. Are they live?
What? You do have them. How'd you do that, Paul? That's double work. So everyone, smack a hand for the Hi-Jivers.
Hey,
hello, Hi-Jivers.
Hello.
All right. So, Big Sandy, say hello to the Hi-Jivers. You always got something good to say.
Hello, Hi-Jivers. We checked in with each other yesterday to make sure the signal was working and everything. And it's good to see. Boy, I know I look different today, but so do you two. we were all in quarantine mode yesterday. Good to see you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So, people, if you don't know who the Hi-Jivers are, out of Nashville, I saw a lot of their stuff on Bopflix. And I noticed they always have like good backup dudes, they're good backup drummers. I know Jason Smade play with you, and also Ricky, the Playboys, play with them. So like they've got good backup dudes. But what really makes the band is the guitar of Austin here and the vocals of Donna. And if you haven't heard it, it's more like people are comparing it to like Janis Joplin. Is that true, Donna? What is your style?
I definitely get that comparison a lot. I don't know if that's what I relate to most, but I think it's a fair comparison.
Yeah. And then
I think it's soulful rock and roll, man. There's plenty of rhythm and blues in there. It just grooves and it's soulful. That to me.
Yeah.
Well, a lot coming from you.
Yeah. And I made the mistake yesterday when we were talking to him, and I said, "Are you guys kind of like rockabilly?" And okay, I know. And then like Austin looked at me and he's like, "Oh, no." And like I went back and I did my due diligence and listened to a lot of Hi-Jivers last night, and I'm all, it's definitely not rockabilly, but it's just swinging guitar licks, And I'm sure Austin could probably noodle like the next guy, the next ripper next door, but he always has like tasty licks, and that's what, like, to me as a guitar player, drives the song. So Austin, I just want to say thank you very much for the music, and of course Donna's vocals are just awesome. It's just powerful. So
Having us on the show, we appreciate it.
now, before you guys play a song for us, can you tell us what you've been doing? Hint, hint, you guys have been doing some live feed stuff.
We have, yeah. We just did it because we saw other people doing it. Obviously, it's an opportunity to make a little tip money on the side. We're used to working for tips anyway in Nashville. So we tried it a couple weeks ago and seemed to go over pretty well. Yeah, it keeps us company, Kind of, I'm sure you can relate doing the show. It's nice to connect with people during these hard times.
Yeah.
It was good to see in a different mode, too. Can you hear me there? It's kind of breaking up.
I can hear you.
I was just going to say, it was great to see in a different mode, stripped down like that, and just grooving off of one another when you do the live thing. It was really cool.
Yeah, we like doing the duo stuff a lot. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes Austin plays drums too, like stripped down drum kit. Sometimes he just does the guitar, so keep it interesting.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'd like to read something here. It says, Scott Hines says, Donna is better than Janice. The only reason they're comparing her to Janice is because she's a woman with a powerful voice. They aren't rockabilly either, in the best of all possible ways. And
thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott's got the back.
Yeah. I stand corrected, sir. I stand corrected. So
yeah, Scott's a good dude. And yeah, the first time I saw the Hi-Jivers was at the Wheel, and they were doing like a 3-hour set of just everything, some classic rockabilly, amazing blues, good old-fashioned rock and roll, and some slow jams. And I fell in love ever since. It was the same year that the Ink and Iron went out there to die. I forget the exact year, but it was a while ago. So they're in everybody's band.
If you see us play a long set, we will do some rockabilly stuff. We'll even play some free hits. So if we get the time, we'll keep it interesting for you.
Yeah. Well, I think, would you mind picking up a guitar, and could you guys belt out a tune for us? We've teased the people long enough.
I don't know if he has a guitar handy.
Oh,
just happen to have it. Oh, yeah.
All right. So what are you going to play for us?
How Are Woman?
Yeah, this was the first Botflix video that we did. This was the one that kind of took off, and we think it really was instrumental in getting us overseas, playing international shows and stuff. So we thank Chris McGee for that.
Thanks,
Yeah.
But I ain't staying, baby, when I in Tennessee. But if you blink your eyes, baby, you go back to missing me. I'm a high woman, and I gotta find something free. I'm a high woman, baby. Nobody said it's gonna hold me. Oh, now be there. It ain't no way. Woo!
Hey, nice work on that one.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
That was badass.
Throat.
Did you say that?
Yeah, you just did. Well, I'll bleep it out later. No, that's great.
We have people dancing online here.
Yeah.
We're dancing in our kitchen right now. That's so cool.
We like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a question. You guys think of your question first while I try to remember mine.
So what can you guys tell us about, traveling all over the world and, taking it from Nashville on, across the seas and stuff? That sounds really exciting.
Oh, it is exciting. That was our intention when we moved to Nashville. We wanted to be a touring band. We wanted to be able to play internationally. We also knew that we'd have the opportunity to play frequently in Nashville, which is obviously a plus. We can make money while we're home, stay busy, practice, get the band tight. So it's been great all around. When we're here, we enjoy it, and when we travel, we enjoy it. So we're fortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question about Bopflix because, right now it seems like that's the best place to find new music coming out, and that's the way people see their music now. And you guys, that's where I first saw you. And so it sounds like, is that where you guys got started with the Bopflix, really getting people to see? Because I've seen your videos, and they're in the hundreds of thousands views on these things, which is good for just a starting up small band, even though you guys are excellent, but that's a great way to get exposure. Is that true? Is that what Bopflix did for you?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely helped us out a lot. I met Chris at the Nashville Boogie, and he was like, "Hey, I want to do a video with y'all." And I was like, "Oh, right on." And I knew exactly who he was, and I loved his videos already. And he's been instrumental in helping us out.
Yeah.
A couple of videos have really helped us, especially get overseas and start touring a lot more.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that we meet, whether they be in the music industry or just fans, friends. They say that was the first time they saw the Hi-Jivers or heard the Hi-Jivers through Bopflix. So we're very grateful for that.
Now, if I may be so bold, why do you think people like your band?
What do you?
Okay.
Well. Oh, you're asking them.
Robert, Big Sandy, let us know. Let us know, Big Sandy.
Well, my assessment is you were asking, we were talking, we had a little production meeting, and we're talking about, they have this sound or that. To me, it just sounds good. It's grooving. It's soulful. And that's what I think people pick up on. It's real. They're not trying to be this or that. They combine elements of different styles of music. And I think the way they channel it, that feeling is channeled through what they do, the way they sing, the way they play, comes across. And I think that's what people are picking up on. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Donna?
I would agree with that. If it's a tough question to answer when you're talking about yourself, but we just play the way we feel. We take, like Big Sandy said, we take influence from lots of different genres that we enjoy, and we just keep it real. We don't try to be anything that we're not. So I think that's probably what people can relate to in the music.
And I got a question too. I got to ask this one, Donna. You got that husky growl, and it's a very aggressive. Is that how you always sang, or did you just one day you're just singing a song and you just really felt it and you belted it out, and then that just kind of stuck? Is that how it happened, or you just always have had that powerful voice?
That's how I've always sang. I don't have any formal training. Actually had a good friend of mine heard me singing. He said that I've always been a huge Muddy Waters fan. And he said that I would sing along when I would listen to Muddy Waters. And he's like, we got to start a band and have you sing some blues and rock and roll. So that's how I've always sang. I don't know how to sing any other way. A lot, but you know what? We were just talking about, I'm going to do what feels right for me. So
yeah. Oh no, we need to have another song by you by you guys, but before we do, Austin, I just want to ask you, who are your influences playing guitar? Because you kind of have your own style that you've developed with the band, the stuff I've seen, but I've never seen you live. So I'm curious, what is your style? And I assume you probably get heavy into some good soloing. Who are your influences?
Mostly blues guys, like Junior Watson, the Hollywood Fats, Kid Ramos, T-Bone Walker. Yeah, I love West Coast jump blues. Jimmy Vaughn, he's probably my favorite guitar player. Gabe Mount Brown. Just a lot of people that use a lot of space in their soloing and in the music. Hubert Sumlin, yeah, I just like the guitar hooks and then letting the space go for a little while. And I don't know, stuff like that. But jump blues, West Coast guys, those are kind of my favorite.
Oh. Well, I do happen I wanted to boast a little bit. We've had Kid Ramos in the studio on some of our other stuff. If you guys come out to Southern California, can I interest you in coming here and doing some stuff in the studio live that we could broadcast live? Can I get an amen from you guys, please?
Yeah, we love it.
There you go. Big Sandy, do that again. We didn't see that. Okay, now, friends, let's see. I think people want to hear another song. So could you guys indulge us with just one more song, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Do the Hi-Jivers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another original tune. This one also has a Botflix video. This is the one I think has the most views. So, once again, thanks to Chris, making it all happen for us.
All right.
Come out together, yes, sir. All
right. I love it.
Thank you.
Got my dog barking.
Oh, we got that. Nice work.
Hell yeah, guys. I really appreciate you guys making time to come join us. It's awesome to hear you guys play live again.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And remember to donate there so we can divvy up a little money to spread around here.
Yeah. So, yeah, and hey, thank you, Hi-Jivers, Austin and Donna. Man, it's great to have you guys. Thanks for giving us your talent and letting the people know. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Good to see you guys. Yeah. We'll see you soon.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Thank you, sir.
See ya.
See you, Vivo.
Later, guys.
Okay. So that was Hi-Jivers. Now we're going to go in a different direction. Well, we got to pay some bills, like we have bills to pay, but we're going to go ask for some more donations. Over there is the PayPal. And you've also got the Venmo underneath there. And we divide that amongst ourselves and send it on out to the people that are on the show as well. So it kind of helps out everybody. You know, if you got some feria, some cambio in your pants, let me know. And but before we get going, I could see that we got our next guest on here, and I'm a little bit nervous. It's sort of like
seeing guys.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Paul. I got to do my commercial for. I made this commercial up, so I'm going to do my commercial real quick. Hold on. We're going to do a commercial for Atomic Swag. This is our friend Shorty. He's got his clothing business, so come take a look at atomicswag.com. Go to atomicswag.com for rocker speedway t-shirts for men and women. They've also got cardigans, tanks, and scarves. Check out the whole collection at atomicswag.com. Okay, that's atomicswag.com. Go check him out. Help her. It's just Shorty's got a lot of cool stuff out there. Just take a look at it. Atomicswag.com. Okay, hey Paul. Before I cut you off, what was going on?
Well, I was going to say Westcoast Ramble. We are very excited to introduce our next guest, the one and only JD McPherson, guys.
Hey, JD McPherson.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Party wave.
Hey, everybody. Tom, Paul, Robert, how you doing, guys?
I'm doing very well. All things considered, of course. And how are you holding up with your family out there during this situation? You know?
Well, we're doing okay. We kind of hunkered down, kind of right at the beginning, and really haven't left the house except for yesterday. It was kind of like the only thing we've done, and we've just been kind of working I've been trying to get a garden going and stuff, just trying to keep the kids busy and not, I don't know, it's actually been nice in a way. I don't know, that sounds crazy, but in some ways, if you can find a minute or two for yourself to do something that you can do to keep yourself busy, it's kind of a nice thing sometimes. I don't know.
I'm with you on that. A little bit of a reset and kind of getting back in touch with with my family and some of the friends that I'm able to connect with in situations like this.
Right. I've been talking to friends a lot more too on the phone. I mean, I'm catching up with people. That's been really cool. Like just catching up with folks, talking.
That's cool. It is good to reconnect, to have that human connection again, even if it's not face to face. Well, actually,
face to face.
So some people, this is the best way to connect with them.
Yeah.
But I wondered. You mentioned the other day you did that the live stream on the Stage It platform, and I was just amazed by how many people were. You have so many supporters, and it just reminded me what a wonderful thing that you've built up. I going back for you with the Poison Okies and the Starkweather Boys, which is the first time. The Starkweather Boys is what first drew my attention to you as somebody like, wow, I need to watch this guy, and then next thing I knew, I was hearing your music. We were all hearing your music in supermarkets. It kind of seemed like
sorry about that, everybody.
No, it was I was in my local supermarket. I saw people actually dancing in the freezer in the frozen food section. I swear to God. Nice. But it seemed like it was like, what, man, out of nowhere. But I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind. How did it feel to you? Did it feel like such a rapid thing, like, wow, what's going on? Or was it really just a product of some really hard work behind the scenes?
That first year was fast and slow, if that makes any sense. Because the year before, when the record came out, I was still working as a teacher, and we were getting a couple of, actually, man, I think while I was doing that was one of the first times I hung out with you, Robert, when it was was it Screamin'? The Starfield Boys played Screamin'?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so that had happened, but then the first record was made, and it was made while I was still teaching school.
Okay.
And I got, fired from that gig. And that was about the time that there was a couple of, festivals popping up in Europe and stuff to hit. And it was kind of like, well, I don't know, is there a window to do something with this? Because I've been playing music since I was, 16 years old, and never once dreamed that it would be a thing to do, for a living. But that first year, I mean, we played like 260 something shows. Like, it was a lot of touring. So that first year it was a combination of feeling like it was going by slowly because you're just gone. For the first time in my life, gone from, my family for like a whole year. But at the same time, it was like fast because I'd never experienced that before. So I don't know, but it was definitely hard work, and a lot came out of it. But there was a lot of sacrifice that first year too. But I'm grateful for everything, grateful for every second with my family, and grateful every second that we can all do what we love and play music for folks.
JD, I got a question too. A couple of years ago, like you didn't you guys open up for Queens of the Stone Age, or was it Foo Fighters or something? It was at the Forum. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, we did a Halloween show. This was like 2 or 3 years ago at the Forum with Queens and the Kills and Nick Oliveri's band, who was formerly of Queens. It was like a big Halloween show.
Yeah, how did those guys get to know you? Like, it seems like two different worlds, but like you seem to appeal to a lot of people is what I'm getting at.
Well, that was a really funny day. I'll try to make this really short.
Okay.
I was in Tornillo, Texas, for like a writing camp. I was like at a writing camp. I had my friends with the guys in Hanson. If you guys remember the band Hanson. Yeah. So they're like Tulsa royalty. They own like a couple city blocks in Tulsa, and they invited me to go to this writing camp. So I was writing with like the Dixie Chicks and stuff, and it was like surreal in this place. Anyway, we were at the airport, and I was the last one. I got stuck in the line. Everybody else that I had just met had gone on ahead of me because my credit card wasn't working. So I got stuck behind, and I was going through. And I was the last guy through security, and I was putting my shoes on. It was like the scene in The Langoliers from Stephen King, that TV movie where nobody's in the airport, like the whole airport's empty. And then all of a sudden, Josh from Queens of the Stone Age comes running around the corner and like picks me up off the ground and hugs me, and he says, "Hey man, I gotta go get my sunglasses from security, but I want to talk to you about something." And just the day before that, he was on a tour bus with his van and it saw the Northside Gal video on like Access TV or something like that, like the video channel, whatever channel still plays videos now. And it was the most random series of events. He saw that, was putting on that show, actually had mentioned that he wanted to do something. Then we ran into each other at this random airport scene, and that show happened. It was just the strangest series of events. But he's been a really big supporter of the band, and he's really done a lot actually to try to get the word out. So he's another one of those people that doesn't have to help, but he just helps what he likes. If he likes something, he wants people to learn about it. So
yeah. Well, then
that touches a little bit on elements of what I was going to ask, because I think within our world of there's a lot of bands that kind of mine certain older sounds, we kind of reinterpret older sounds or inspired by that. But I think more than just about anybody within that world, you've been able to reach outside of that to just what some of us would call regular folks. It's been such a cool thing to see. I don't know, was that ever by design, or did that just happen?
Well, I'll tell a little tale out of school here. I mean, honestly, there were two bands that had a major impact on me that weren't original rock and roll bands, and that was you, Robert, and the Belfuries, because you guys were always mixing things up, but Joey with all of his, his crazy lyrics and like doing Sam Cooke songs as a trio, that kind of thing. And then you were always trying, always adding things in, like that It's Time record with like the Cajun music, and there's like jazz and Western swing. And so if you remember, like the Starkweather Boys was basically like we were trying to do every kind of roots music we could possibly fit into one thing, and that was a heavily influenced by Fly Right Boys records.
Wow. So I wasn't fishing for that.
It confused a lot of people, though. The Starkweather Boys was so compartmentalized, it confused a lot of people. Okay. But we did our best. We tried to because we like all kinds of music, we tried to get it all in there.
It was a fantastic band. I think we had already crossed paths, but you definitely put the Starkweather Boys and what you were doing to put. Suddenly you were on my radar. It's like, okay, you get to think you can sniff these things out, and I thought I need to watch that guy.
So we met in the Poison Okies days. That's true. That's right.
Yeah,
it's a little fuzzy.
I wonder why. Speaking of fuzzy, speaking of that show you're talking about, I remember you pouring tequila down my throat right before I went to the airport, man. Oh, my good Lord. But anyway, hey, Paul, I was wondering if you had anything to ask.
Man, JD, I just wonder if you can maybe share a little bit to the audience, like, what's one of the first shows where you kind of stood back and realized, wow, this isn't like a small bar anymore, or this isn't, like an empty showcase, and you really just were able to take it in and see, like, all right, I've accomplished like maybe the next step of, I guess, or making it, whatever. I know it's cheesy, but like, I just want to hear something about that.
Well, the first show the band played ever was in Chicago at Fitzgerald's, and I know some of us are very familiar with Fitzgerald's, but that was really cool. We did a New Year's show, we did a Halloween show. I think the Halloween show was the first show, and it was really full because it was a lot of cool bands and stuff. But that was the first show, and even that right there was more people than I ever played in front of. In a club environment. We'd done one European festival with the Starkweather Boys, but right there I was like, man, wow, this is something else. And then the third gig we ever played was in Spain at a weekender, and that was having people that English is not their first language singing along with you is a very surreal experience. So I don't know, I'll never forget either of those two things. That first and third show was pretty. That's
pretty awesome. Yeah, and as a guitar nerd, really quick too, I'm curious. So was it you knowing like Fly Right Records? Did that make you want to get like a TK Smith guitar and kind of get to that style of guitar, or did something else really make you seek out that particular, like the flat wounds or the lower, just like how people use the low outcome pickup with a high amp, you know what I mean?
Well, the TK guitars, they didn't come till later, but I absolutely knew who TK was, and I actually saw TK at one of those early Viva Las Vegases. I think it was like the fourth one the Smiths Ranch Boys played.
Okay.
And I immediately started turning my black Telecaster into a butterscotch Telecaster because TK had one, and I started wearing overalls with a tie in the Poison Okies after seeing that band. So yeah, I was like pretty taken with him and his whole thing, and then I met him years later, and we just became pals. But then when he started making guitars and the possibility of him making one, I just we talked about that guitar for like a couple of years before it finally was finished, because I just couldn't make up my mind like what what is possible here. And he's a master of many trades, and making guitars is certainly one of them. But yeah,
awesome.
What's that, Rob?
You mentioned Viva Las Vegas, seeing the Smith Ranch Boys there. 1 week from today is when you would have been on stage at Viva Las Vegas, and what a lot of people, they were looking forward to seeing you anyway, but it was the 10th year anniversary of that Signs and Signifiers. And I know you were doing a whole tour to support that, and I know that, like all of us, we've had the cancellations. What is that going to happen down the line? I mean, I know Viva, we'll wait till next year and see what happens with that. But I think a lot of your shows are rescheduled. But is that going to still be an element of it, the 10-year anniversary thing for the album?
Well, the U.S. shows were rescheduled, and we actually kind of thought about trying to expand that tour to like add some West Coast shows, but with the Viva thing was actually a little complicated because of the clause of you can't be with a certain amount of time. So we were going to wait and do that. And then, of course, all this other stuff happened. So now, I mean, September, if those shows happen, like if August, September, if venues open up again, I mean, every band in the world is going to be on the road. And so we had to really, our booking agency really had to pull some strings to get those to happen. So those are rescheduled for the time being. Hopefully they happen. The European shows we just had to cancel them. We just couldn't do it. I would love to have done that tour, and I hope that we still can, because I mean that was really important to us to go back over there and play those songs 10 years later. Viva was important too, man, because Ray, our piano player Ray, that was his first gig with us ever, was the year we played Viva the last time. So it was like a lot of anniversaries. But life happens, and you gotta kind of roll with it. Hopefully we can get it all rolling again, though.
Well, I know I'm not alone in saying that. We all hope that. I mean, what happens, but that album is become a touchstone for a lot of people, just like the Belfiere's first record. I mean, they're all great, but for some reason that your first album became was a soundtrack to a lot of people's lives during that time. And it's something special about the first time anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
I have a question. Can I ask JD a question, please?
Sure, Tom.
Yes. It's going to lead to my next question.
Oh, here, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead, Big Sandy.
Well, this might lead into it.
Okay, go for it.
More recently, the Sox.
That's what I was going to talk about, Big Sandy. Stop it.
No. You're going to ask him an album about that album that I'm not going to bring up.
Okay.
But this is more of a statement than a question. I think it's definitely let's say it's the best Christmas album of within 50 years.
Yes.
But even the holiday theme aside, it's just like one of the best records to come out in 20 years or something to me. Or not the best. It's up there. It's just a really great album. It's almost like you can listen to it year-round because it doesn't feel like the usual Christmas record. Were you surprised by the reaction to that album? But I think it's something pretty special.
Thank you so much for that. That means a lot coming from you, buddy. Thank you. But yes, I was very tormented about making a Christmas record. I love Christmas. I love Christmas music, especially I love Christmas music from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It's like that kind of music and that sound during that time of year is what makes the whole thing. It's like when you start, I've got everybody, I'm sure every one of you have a section in your record collection that's Bing, and you pull out the Elvis and the
yes, absolutely,
and all that stuff, and it's like a whole element of everybody's experience that time. So I love that stuff, but I had only done one Christmas song prior to that, and I wasn't really interested in doing anymore. But so I'm a big Nick Lowe fan. I'm a big fan of Nick Lowe's writing, and Nick Lowe had made this record, Quality Street, and it was really smart and really hip, like in so many ways. And it was like kind of snarky, but not in a mean way. Like it wasn't an anti-Christmas record. Like people usually make a Christmas record, it's like either going to be standards and you're trying so hard to evoke that kind of, that kind of mall feeling, or you're making an anti-Christmas record. And I wanted to kind of sit somewhere in between there. So the record didn't really get interesting for me until I started thinking about how to write it and how to make it. And when I had this one idea is when it all clicked, was that if Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller had written a Christmas album for the Coasters, that's what I wished existed.
Oh.
And that's what I was trying to kind of evoke a little bit, because that kind of cool and smart and like self-knowing, kind of self-referential writing that's really great. Plus the Coasters, which is like their muse, and they never did any Christmas material together. So that's the only thing I was thinking about making that record, was like, what would have happened if that would have happened, So, but it was a big surprise when that came out, and it was, people liked it. I honestly thought that it was just going to be something, because Christmas music comes and goes, and
But this will not go. That one will not go, because you're talking about the extremes. The Christmas albums are usually over here, over here. You're right in the middle. I mean, you're in a different place, but standing alone, and because of that, it's an instant classic. That's all I have to say, Tom.
Thanks, Robert.
Can I say something now? Now
yes.
Every question I was going to ask. No, JD. Here's the deal. I want to thank you because you made me cool. Because I posted like one of the songs on my Facebook, and that was the year before last. And then just this last year, a buddy of mine posted, "You guys got to listen to this album. My friend Tom turned me on to it. It's JD McPherson," and everyone, and they're just like normal folks. You know what I mean? Like they're not like
regulars.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like guys who listen to Air Supply and stuff like that. So they're thinking, "Oh, this is great," But my other question was, I wrote it down. Like when you're doing like Ugly Sweater Blues, or when I listen to that, it's sad. Like I'm putting up my decorations and I'm listening to the record, and it's like the Ugly Sweater Blues, and I feel like, oh man, I feel like a little kid. Like it's sad. Like he has to wear this stuff, Like I thought, did you get that from having kids, or like you like going back to a place when you were like 6 years old, or where did all that come from? Because it's really creative writing.
Kind of all of it, I guess. I do remember like being, I was a toddler in the 70s, and I've got all these pictures of me with like a bowl haircut and a little like velvet tuxedo, like ruffles, and like my mom and dad were always getting my picture made at Sears with like the little velvet tuxedo and ruffly lapels and stuff. And so that is a thing that sticks with you, But then also, we love our Christmas here at the house, and we have we always wear matching pajamas and all that kind of stuff. And so, it's good and painful. Good memories and painful memories mixed together, I guess. But nobody wants to be remembered wearing those little velvet numbers.
Well, we just happen to have those pictures right here. Post them.
Okay, it's getting late, but JD, I did want to ask you a couple things about the art on your stuff. Let's go back to the Socks album, because I before I got the download, I was watching the videos, and they were just so cool, like the art and the way it was like animated, like Peanuts. You know what I mean? Charles Schultz, when it was animated, it was like kind of choppy, and I don't know if you did that on purpose, but like your stuff was, the art was awesome, and then it was animated. It was from the album. But all the videos had a little thing to them. And even though just a couple of frames of movement, like it told a story. Like, where did you find that art for that?
Okay, so very important. That art was all done by our friend Anika Orak, who is a fantastic illustrator. She did the whole the whole thing, everything from the book that's included, and then a company took that artwork and was able to manipulate it digitally to move it a little bit with the things. But Anika has done, we've known her a long time, and she's done like T-shirts for us. And then yesterday when we did the online concert, she took time out of her very busy schedule because she's got a book out right now. And she drew the Signs and Signifiers artwork in her own style as a gift to give people that donated. So she's like, that's family right there. So I just want to make sure everybody hears that name, Anika Orok. She just wrote illustrated and wrote a fantastic book on women's baseball in the 40s during World War II that everybody should check out. If you like that artwork, you're going to love that book.
All right.
I thought it was great how much you were focusing on that during. Was it during the I think maybe it was during the second live stream you did. You were giving her shout outs. You were shouting out somebody like the sort of person like an artist might not normally draw attention to, and I thought that was very sweet of you to. That was very good of you, man, to pay attention to her work.
I mean, she took the time out to help us out. She took the time out to donate some artwork, and she really helped us out. She was in the middle of making that book when she did our socks artwork, but I was like, I gotta have Anika Orok do this artwork. So I'll do as much shouting from the rooftops as I can to kind of get people to check out her stuff.
You're fantastic. A good man, my friend. You're a good man.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, JD, for being on our show. Do we have any other last questions, Paul? Big Sandy?
Man, thank you so much for taking the time.
What's that?
Oh, I'm just joking.
What was that, Big Sandy?
I was just joking. I said, where do you get your ideas?
Oh, you're just making fun of me because I asked that?
That's Norm. That's Norm.
That's right.
I love that so much, man. Like, Norm is just like, whenever he's... That's what you're quoting, right? Where do you get your ideas from? No, oh, my God.
Yeah, but he makes Adam Egget say it.
Yeah, but then, like, depending on their answer, he either totally checks out or then he gets back into it. I love that. That's so good.
I'm going to get him on this show.
Man, oh, man. Please have me be on there, too, if you get him.
Yes,
I want to talk
absolutely.
to Norm. Guys, thank you for having me. Everybody stay safe and follow the rules right now, and this kind of stuff is keeping people going, so thanks for doing it.
All right.
Thank you, my friend, and thank you for doing the show. This has brought so many more people to what we've been doing here at Westcoast Ramble, and I say thank you. You're a good man. You take care of your family, man, and we'll see you on the better side of all of this.
All right, Robert, give me a holler, buddy.
All right.
Thanks, JD.
See you guys. Thank you.
Good night.
All right. Okay, friends. So that pretty much concludes our show. We got you got any last messages for the people out there, Big Sandy?
No, I just thought this was a really great show. I think I'd like to reach out right now to JD and to Donna and Austin and Kevin. Thank you for doing this show. This is a special thing. Sometimes we think you might be led down the path to think like, yeah, we're doing this for the people to keep their mind. This is helping me to do this. So thank you for watching and for donating and for commenting. This is doing me a lot of good, and I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody out there.
All right. Paul, you got any parting words for our friends? And who's coming up next week? That's your job.
Well, it's going to be a surprise for next week. We have something good cooking up, though. I can promise you that much.
There's very exciting coming down the pipeline, and something not so exciting. I'm joking.
All right, friends.
You know what? Yeah. I wanted to say, too, really quick, thank you guys so much for taking the time to tune in with us and to also tip, because every time we've done this, we've been able to share a little something to all the guests, and the more you share to us, the more we can share to them. So thank you guys very much for keeping this going.
Okay, let me see if I get some bumper music. And thanks a lot, guys,
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, okay, let's all three of us up here on the screen. Wait, no, that's me. Hold on a second. Paul. Yeah, all right, Paul. All right, guys, we'll see you later. And thanks for seeing it. and comment, let us know, and let your friends know. We'll talk to you later.